Scott, do you want to talk to the group about what do you need to do as an administrator to support your teachers trying something new like defined learning PBLs?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. Let's first of all, I want to talk about what our goal was at Dunbar with Mr. Vaughn and myself. We started looking at defined learning, and one of those pieces was to integrate reading and math across the curriculum while we're having Friday virtual class days. And so that was a real challenge. We started looking at defined learning early on, got in touch with them, had conversations with them, actually did a practice module ourselves. We went to, Mr. Vaughn wanted to be a pirate. We're both history teachers, so we decided to do pirate stuff, and that's what we did. We loved the program. And so the biggest question right off the bat was, where do we put it? How do we make this accessible to our teachers? And how do we introduce it to our students without adding more to the plate of our faculty? That was the number one question we had. The year before, Mr. Vaughn and I created a time period in our course, in our daily schedule for what we call advocacy. And advocacy helps us meet several outcomes. We want our students to have a champion, a teacher in the class, in our school that they can reach out to and talk to. And we wanted to have an ability to work on character education at the same time. And so we created advocacy as a model for doing that. And it happens at the end of our day. And so when we were deciding when we could implement this, we decided to put it in our advocacy. And to do that, we talked to our teachers, introduced them to defined learning, and told them the first thing we want to do is we want everybody to do this together. Start a module, get with your students, pick a module you'd like, work on it, and throughout the week, one little piece a week, because these modules are based could be like 3 to 4 day little PBLs to work on. And so our teachers picked one. Our teachers, our fifth grade students, they picked some, and they started working through it. And at the end of that time period, then we said, all right, now let's try putting it in place to where they can work on it, some at school and then some at home. And we'll do a few modules that way until the kids really get the grasp of it. And then we'll cut them loose, say, around Christmas time, which should be about right now, and start assigning them there through our Google Classroom. And by the way, Defined Learning does play well with Google Classroom. So if you're using that platform, you can send that out to your students that way. Now, some of you are probably like, well, we don't have an advocacy time, so we don't know if that works out. Well, that's true. However, the modules are based off of OAS standards. So you can pick, like your science teachers can pick a project for your students to do that emphasizes a particular standard you want them to work on. And the beautiful part about it is that as her illustration showed earlier, it's not just a bucket of science. It has history and writing and reading and research and scientific data for the kids to go through to create a product. And so we just decided to do this as a way to have an additional piece within our advocacy, a learning, an academic piece, not just social emotional stuff, and building those relationships with her, very key and very important to our school. But to have that key piece on our Fridays for our kids to really engage and use their brains and work on PBL instead of just other assignments that can be sent out and missed. So, and the beautiful part about it is when they get done, they have their artifacts to show. And so when they complete an assignment, they complete their module, they have an artifact, they present it to each other in the advocacy classroom. So we're hitting a lot of check marks, like getting kids to speak to each other, getting them to work together, getting them to solve problems, getting them to use math, English across the curriculum, and more importantly, presenting to, having that piece to where they get comfortable working with each other, solving those problems, and making a product for everybody to see.